And this is the story of the young man, 14 years old. This just happened last Thursday over in Orlando at the Icon Park, which is on International Drive. This must be something fairly new because I don't remember there being an Icon Park, but I guess this is one of the new tourist-type things that they've tried to develop there on International Drive. We all know where that is in Orlando, one of the key tourist hubs there. And this is called the Free Fall Ride, which I'll tell you, you can watch the video. It's still available, I think, in certain places out there. This is extremely sad. This young man is on this ride. The ride basically shoots up into the air, up to a height of about 430 feet. It's actually taller than the Statue of Liberty, and then it rockets downward at about 75 miles an hour, making you feel like you're in a free fall, thus the name Orlando Free Fall. Well, I tell you, you can watch this video, and as it's getting set up, I don't know if you've watched it, you can see the young man that winds up being the victim of this situation. And if you look at him, you can tell his harness is not latched. He's holding it down so he can go on the ride. This kid is he's a giant, he's a big kid. 14 years old, 6'5". I heard like 345, so well over 300 pounds.
And he was already turned away from other rides there.
Yeah.
They said, no, you're too big to get on this ride.
You can't actually close, and it's so funny. I not to bring too much personal here, but I've experienced this at Busch Gardens because I'm a big guy, big-chested guy, and you can't quite close the harness. It's just made for a smaller person.
Right, to snap down into place. And
I had to actually get off of one of the rides, the Egyptian-themed one. What's it called? I want to say Pharaoh, but that's not right.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
At Busch Gardens. Anyway, they were trying to get the harness closed, and one of the attendants got on the harness and pushed pretty hard. I thought it was going to break my sternum when he did. I mean, it was, we couldn't get it latched, and I said, I got to get off of here. Of course, you don't have
Phoenix?
that. Phoenix, maybe? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that it? Okay. You don't have that much time, right? Because the ride, kind of is going to go. And so, but I had to get off of the thing. I couldn't go on it, and I'm not nearly as big as this young man was. I mean, he's just a giant. So I kind of understand the situation, but you could kind of hold that harness in place, and you could see him doing it. You could see him holding his harness down, and you could see it wasn't down as low as his buddies that were right next to him. So he obviously wanted to go on the ride, and I'm sure he just thought, it'll be okay. The harness will basically hold me in. Anyway, it's an awful video. It feels so bad for the family. There's going to be some significant liability there because if you watch to the end of the video, one of the young ladies that worked there ran up and said, did you guys not check? And you just think, gosh,
heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. Who would think you go to have some fun at the fair or something else and you don't make it home? That's a terrible story, but right over in Orlando. So, those things, they're not as safe as you might think, particularly if you don't have the harnesses fastened, then they're really unsafe. So anyway, just a terrible story, but wanted to just talk about that some with folks since it reminded me, of an experience that I had getting onto one of these things where you just can't get the harness closed.
They have that same ride at Dollywood, and Dollywood canceled that ride. They shut it all down.
The free fall?
And they're just getting rid of it totally. I bet you it never comes back here at Icon Park. At this point,
No.
I mean, who would... It's they're going to probably just have to get rid of it and do something different. Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.